So I guess this would be a fairly good time to do a review of this little stapler I bought. I've got a big, I say big, I've got a pneumatic staple gun that will shoot staples up to, oh, I don't know, 1.5 inches, maybe a couple inches, which is pretty cool for a lot of things, like, you know, you can put up cedar shingles with it, and, you know, things like that. I wanted a small stapler, almost like a handheld stapler, the kind you squeeze the handle with, and I used to have them old big, you know, chrome plated looking ones, and it actually takes quite a lot of hand strength to work those, and you can wear your hand out doing that. When Honey Baby was making picture frames some time ago, we found one with a pretty easy pull, and that helped because, you know, it was hard to pull the handle on that big one. And I went to look for it, I couldn't find it, so I went up to the hardware store and I found one sort of like that, but they also had this little electric staple gun. This is an Arrow, and you plug it in and it shoots staples. And I've done all this with it, and I've only had it jam once. What I figured out is when you run out of staples, it's a good idea to dump whatever's in there out, because sometimes a staple stays in there and it jams it up when you put it in. Other than that, it hasn't jammed. The other thing about it that is a little bit annoying is that it has this safety thing on it here, and I'm not going to touch that because it's so easy to shoot yourself in the finger. But there's a little safety nub here, and when you're trying to get into a corner or into a tight place, like I had a place where I had a board up here running sideways, and I was trying to turn the staple sideways to get to it. You can't shoot a staple unless it's right dead on. And I'll give you an example. I'm working this corner over here, and I want to get right up in this corner. Well, if I can't get that to press that trigger unless I make it flat, and they put a thing here so that you can get kind of flat onto something, or about as flat as you can get. But then if you've got a board like this one that's in the way, that won't work. So by the time I get it flat, I'm 1 inch out. Other than that, it works pretty well. You hear that little noise it makes, that little, well, that's like it's cocking. It means it's pushed that thing in. If there is another drawback to it, so see, here's a time where apparently I'm not, I was trying to shoot it there and it wouldn't allow me to, because the sensor was telling it that it wasn't in the right place to shoot. I guess the other drawback is it's kind of heavy, you know, as far as one of those lightweight guns. And it's not fast. And what I mean by that is, you know, I've got an air staple gun where you can go boom, 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 boom. This one is like boom, boom, because it has to do that cocking, kind of slows it down. So having said all that, for 37 bucks I did all this. I don't have any hand cramps. And I probably can find some other uses for it. By the way, it says it shoots these T50 staples. Well, I went out and bought the biggest T50 I could find. It wouldn't fit in it. And then I had to read the fine print on the gun there. It wouldn't use a 9/16, so it'd only go up to a half. So I thought, well, that's silly. Advertises it uses the T50 staples, but I don't know. It's just like, why didn't they? I don't know. Anyway, I guess that wasn't a very good review, was it? I'm glad I bought it. I'd probably buy it again. We'll leave it at that, okay? Okay. Enough of that. I'm gonna get back to work here. I'll let y'all watch. Okay, here's a good example. I'm trying to shoot a staple here, and it took me like 4 tries to find a place where it would let me. A little bit annoying. A little bit. Not deadly so, but a little bit. Let's see, a staple fell out. That's what I meant about good idea to shake your staples out, because sometimes it will run out, but there'll still be one lingering in there somewhere. That was me trying to go fast to see how fast I could go.
I guess the other drawback that there could be to this, let's say you're trying to put a screen, a window screen in a frame, and the frame has a lip on it that the screen goes down into. There's about 1/4 of an inch between this outside edge and where the staple comes out, and then you've got that trigger that has to be mashed in order for it to come out. Which means you're not going to be able to get right up to the edge of something like that to put the staple in. That's something I thought about the other day because my neighbor was talking about, you know, putting in screens across the street over there at the mill. And I was thinking, well, that could be a little awkward trying to do that kind of work. I'm up here at I'm on the wrong leg on the ladder here. I need to get a little higher, so I'm going to have to reconstruct my ladder setup here.